Hi everybody, so we are back with A Blade So Black. We've gone beyond the veil, and I'm hoping we're going to learn a lot more about muchness. I want some muchness, don't you? Alright, let's find out what happens. As Addison's words poured over her frenzied thoughts like water over coals, the thumping between her ears began to fade. Me? You. His hands fell to her shoulders, squeezing gently. But only if you believe you can do this. I think you're ready. Do you? Alice continued to breathe deep, in through her nose, out through her mouth, in and out, in and out. Seconds ticked by. She even counted a few in her head. Gradually, the pressure behind her eyes lessened. The wild dancing of her heart evened out. The buzzing in her limbs subsided. I can do this, she whispered. I can do this. Louder this time. Addison smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. I know, let's go. He turned to lead the way farther into the bright haze of the glow. With another deep breath, she followed him, now able to fully concentrate on taking in the wonder of it all. Every so often, tiny, hazy arms and legs materialized in the branches, accompanied by bell-like laughter. She jumped a couple times, even took a swing at something bright blue that dipped in front of her face. Addison laughed. Hey, it was a reflex. Few things here will harm you. He paused, angling his head back, intentionally that is. So comforting. Some of the tension melted from her muscles. She half listened to Addison's tips as they went along. If you hear purring, that's my kitty. Say hi, kitty. Hi, kitty. Meow. So I apologize about that. We'll get back to it. Remember to keep your core tight when you move, especially when you jump or dodge. Maintain your grip, eyes on your opponent. All stuff she'd heard before. And I haven't mentioned this before, but you'll need to adjust for your newfound speed and strength. It'll be, wait, my what? She blinked at him. When a trainee crosses the veil for the first time, the same essence that feeds this place empowers them, enhancing their natural abilities and bestowing a few new ones. Addison continued on, leaving Alice staring after him. That's when and how you become a dream walker. I feel like he should have told her this before they went over. Wait. She hurried to catch up with him. You never said anything about superpowers. She was hearing this right? I think she's feeling like I'm feeling. That's what he was talking about, right? It only happens if you cross the veil. So there was no need to mention it before, in case you decided not to. Oh, that's fine. I kind of think superpowers are something you bring up when training to fight monsters. I agree with her. I didn't want to influence your decision in any way. Crossing was your choice to make. She looked to her hands as they moved along. I don't feel any different. You will. Trust me. She curled and uncurled her fingers, grinning a little. Cool. Dad would flip if he knew she was pretty much a superhero now. Only he would never know. Her vision blurred, and that hollow place in her chest deepened. No. She sniffed and wiped her eyes. Not here, not now. She couldn't come apart here. She smoothed her hands over her hair, fingers catching the coils a couple times. That trip had blown her hair all over the place, so she worked it into the large ponytail holder she always kept on her wrist. She stole a glance at Addison, who looked to be caught up in searching their surroundings for something. If he noticed her brief break, he didn't say anything. So, what else haven't you told me about this place? She waved a hand, not wanting to influence me or whatever. I can't very well tell you everything. Wonderland is as wide as your world and as immense as the human imagination. He shoved his hands into his pockets. So this is you saying you don't know everything. A corner of her lips lifted. What I'm saying is your training covered a lot, but there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt in your philosophy. Alice snorted. You know poetry don't work on me, right? Addison grinned. I'm simply saying there's a lot here. A lot of history, a lot of complications. His tone dipped around that last word. And I'm here to be your partner and tour guide, all rolled into one. And that wasn't poetry. You know what I mean. She wanted to ask what he meant by complications, but they'd reached the end of the glow. At least, she assumed they did, because everything was suddenly less bright. A meadow opened before them. A sea of tall grass, or what looked like grass, waved back and forth in the night. The colors shifted in a gradient of pink and yellow. Purple clouds drifted overhead, rimmed in silver and bloated from soaking up moonlight. Blue moonlight. The moon was freaking blue. Wow, Alice whispered, stepping forward. The grass brushed against her thighs. She could feel the tickle through her jeans. She was so focused on the sky, the moon, that when a luminescent blue bob bounced out of the grass, she yelped and stumbled back. Addison laughed. Alice puffed her cheeks, trying to ignore the burn in them. She slugged him in the shoulder, which only made him laugh harder. It's not funny. No, he snickered, trying to breathe. It's hilarious. And these little guys are harmless. Frubbles. They just want to play. She rubbed her arm as a few more frubbles, whatever, rolled around at her feet, shining different colors. Play? Yeah, they're like puppies. Round, glowing puppies. Just run, you'll see. He smiled, those dimples appearing again. Go on, he urged when she hesitated, fast as you can. She looked to the frubbles, then to the meadow. It was about 100 yards or so to the next tree line, which wasn't as bright as the glow. With a quick breath, she took off, crossed 10 yards in a burst of speed, and shook her core, and promptly tripped over her own feet. Whoa! She hit the dirt with a woof as all the air was pushed out of her lungs. Ugh! Cold from the ground seeped through her jeans and her shirt. She shivered and struggled to her knees, then hugged herself to ward off the nighttime chill. The rich smell of damp earth mingled with the sharp scent of moss and fresh water from somewhere nearby. Addison knelt beside her. You all right? Yeah, though her torso ached a bit, but the pain was also already starting to fade. I was so fast, I couldn't keep up with myself. How does that even work? Told you you'd feel it. He offered her a hand up. Try again. Alice took a second to gather herself, flexing her arms, shifting her legs. The frubbles rolled about in the grass, trilling softly like birds. She grinned. They were so cute. Okay. She glanced across the meadow again. Super speed. Well, not super, just faster. I can handle this. With a deep breath, she pushed into a run, slower at first, getting a feel for her wonder legs. Now that was corny. She stumbled a bit, but didn't fall. She turned to the tree line and kept going. Faster now. Faster. Faster. Luminescent blobs bounced out of the thigh-high grass, racing beside her, surfing the meadow like dolphins. The frubbles trilled cheerfully, dipping in and out of her path, arcing through the air like shiny beach balls. She pushed into a full run, her head buzzing as her chest heaved. Her legs and arms pumped. Wind swept over her face and through her hair. She whooped and kept going until she pushed off into a jump. Her momentum carried her forward, propelled her up. Whoa! Her arms and legs flailed, throwing off her center of gravity. She managed to get her feet under her before hitting the ground and tumbling to a stop. On her back again, she stared at the starless sky and the moon overhead. Her muscles sung, jerking here and there. Her nerves were alight. She laughed and whooped again, panting. The frubbles rolled back and forth beside her, cooing like doves. She patted a pink one gently, her hand black against its shine, gliding across the smooth surface. Sitting up, she glanced around for signs of Addison when an odd sort of pressure slid along her limbs, like dozens of tapping fingers. Goosebumps prickled her flesh. The frubbles gave high-pitched trills before darting away into the dark. Okay. Alice? Over here. She brushed herself off, glancing round. She was at the edge of the forest across from the glow. It was much darker. Shadows filled the trees. Tangled branches and vines choked the canopy, keeping the moonlight at bay. Alice tensed when she thought she saw something move out of the corner of her eye and scan the undergrowth. Alice? Addison called again. She lifted a hand out of the grass and waved, not wanting to shout again. Something was out there. her senses strained to take in everything they could. The forest remained still, quiet enough for her to hear the wind sweep through with a low, heavy whoosh, whoosh. Not wind, breathing, movement to her left. Oh no. And I'm excited because I was hoping for a little bit more violence to come back. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.